The last source I had to analyze was that of Mary Catherine Ham, um, a more conservative person talking about a much more liberal approach to marijuana. Mary Catherine Ham is interviewed by Bill O'Reilly on CNN, Fox News, a much more conservative news network, and she is giving a much more liberal approach to it. Mary Catherine gives a perspective that it should be legalized for the reason of all these financial differences and damages keeping it banned is causing. Mary Catherine also has a much more liberal perspective due to her wanting it to be legalized to help the general public economic wise. Mary Catherine is definitely biased because while she does cover her side of the story, she doesn't look at the more positive features of keeping it banned. Um, she does cover and fight Bill O'Reilly on some ideas that he has, but she doesn't necessarily associate closely analyze the actual perspective of the conservatives. Instead, she just looks at very specifically the economic damage. And Bill O'Reilly tries to look at the more opposite perspective. I don't know how to explain that. He looks at a much more conservative point of view and the more general public. What would benefit the general public besides economics wise? Mary Catherine claims that, delegation would be a great economic weed legalization would be a great economic improvement. Apparently, it costs the government thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in just fines that we have by catching people with the small package of weed. And even if it's medical marijuana, the government can still cite you for that. Mary Catherine provides statistics, quoted research, and opposing viewpoints as her evidence to help her stay afloat in this argument. When she strengthens her perspective, because she definitely does mention some statistics, which is great and all, but she weakens it at the same time because her statistics are of the people, and the people you can pretty much analyze that, and it wasn't from a necessarily very strong, reliable source, as to say. She uses the word choice of failure, huge money, and pro leniency to actually demonstrate how the other side is not so great. And instead, she gives it a much more positive outlook on why we should legalize weed, because the system that we currently have is a failure. If we legalize it, we would have a complete different change of system, therefore making it a much better end outcome than what it is currently. A logical fallacy that I found in Mary Catherine's claim was the bandwagon appeal. She stated that the vast majority of people think that right now the system is a failure, and therefore she thinks it's a failure. And she says that a vast majority of people think that we should legalize weed, so she thinks we should legalize weed. She's just going with the flow, and she's making people want to go with the flow as well. Therefore, it's something that weakens her argument by a lot, considering that she's not using any very good, strong evidence stating that so many people are for this conversation. But just because a lot of people are for a perspective doesn't mean everyone should agree to it. That's something that very much weakens her point of view.